What's up, guys? Griffin from Auburn House, and today I'm here to tell you a fun, exciting way that you can review with your students before a test. We decided last week to have a game day in my classroom. Now, this game day was not like any other because I did not provide the games to the students, but instead my students were the game developers. This promoted leadership, engagement, collaboration, all that other fun stuff that you want in your classroom, and it dove into Webb's depth of knowledge, specifically DOK 3 and 4, focusing on strategic and extended thinking. Now, the way you do this is you'll still provide your students with some questions, but you'll also allow them the opportunity to come up with questions themselves. I teach math and science, so I did give my students a question bank of about 80 questions, 40 science, 40 math, and I required them to choose a combined 40 questions in total, 20 from each subject. I then also required that students created 10 questions of their own. This allows 5 from science and 5 for math. Students would then work together to create their board game or online game. I actually had a few kids create a game through Minecraft, which I thought was just a silly game that they played all the time, but I got to play the game that they created, and it was really cool to see how the students were able to develop that software to include all of the content that I was requiring for this project. So let's check out the games. One of the first things that the students need to do before they develop their game is to create an outline. As you can see here, the student created a board game outline and rules. Rules are a very important part of the game. Don't forget, you're working with students. They're all going to want to win the game, so you got to make sure there are clear rules outlined so that there's no cheating within your classroom. Now, let's not forget about the most important part of this game day. That would be the questions that the students are creating. This group, for instance, cut out questions. Here I have some math questions and some science questions. The way it works is they've also created this board here. The idea behind this game is that you are a little chicken and you are escaping from Chick-fil-A. So you start up here at Chick-fil-A, you pull a card. If you get the question correct, then you move forward a space. If you get it wrong, you stay where you are. Your goal is to get all the way down to the finish line. As you see here, this has a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions that the students have to answer. This game is similar to a Candyland or Chutes and Ladders. First, players will roll a dice. Then they will move their character, which my students made little emoji-looking pieces. However many spaces they got, I got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Then the students will alternate between answering a math and science question. This first one, if I answered a science question, the next round I would answer a math question. Now, if I get it right, I get to stay where I am. If I get it wrong, I have to go back to my previous spot. The most important thing to remember is let the students be creative. Okay, not everybody is going to come up with a similar game. Like I said, some of my students created these games that mimicked, Candyland or Chutes and Ladders. Others came up with their own, and some went ahead and used online servers such as Minecraft. That's something I would have never thought to do. Allow the students to be creative. Before you start your game day, make sure you check through the rules and directions because those need to be very clear for the students to check out. Additionally, make sure that these games do not have a host. They should not require a host. Just as if you're playing a board game at your house, you don't need to bring in Steve Harvey to come host it for you. All right? These games should not require a host. Through doing these games, believe it or not, you're giving them a piece of paper like this, but simply cutting it out and giving them the opportunity to play a game. By playing these games, you're going to see much more engagement from your students. We actually had the opportunity to give them 2 full class blocks, that's a tongue twister, to play games. So I had over 2 hours of engagement from my entire class. And as always, please like and subscribe to find more creative and engaging ways to spice up your classroom.